We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
I'm not getting sushi after Monday Night Raw.
What is up, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. Obviously, there's tragically sad news today in the world of professional wrestling. Hulk Hogan, the immortal Hulk Hogan, has passed away at the young age of 71. We're going to start the show by honoring Hulk Hogan and giving some of our memories, absolutely, and then we will break down Dynamite after that. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in. Let me introduce my panel to you really quickly out of the gates here. First and foremost, I'll send this one to Philadelphia. To my co-host from Sold Separately, Anthony Ricciardi. How are you today?
I'm doing all right on a rather morbid day that this is. But I'm looking forward to covering, obviously, this topic and then eventually our regular programming of Dynamite.
Absolutely. And before we get into our memories of Hulk Hogan and whatnot, let me toss it to the DMV, the Tuesday Night Delight. Do get your twos up still for Shoddy. How are you today?
What's going on, everyone? It is your boy Shad Talks Graps, and yes, we are back with another installment, like you mentioned. And yeah, man, crazy, sad news in the world of pro wrestling. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. All the Hulkamaniacs are definitely mourning today. And yeah, man, it's going to be interesting one to break down with Dynamite as well, because I got some words to say about the topics today. I'm pretty excited about it.
Absolutely, and we will get there for sure. Let's start with Hulk Hogan, though. For me, it's interesting being born in 1991. I grew up really with a lot more Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Owen Hart, British Bulldog, Razor Ramon, Kevin Nash, than I necessarily did Hulk Hogan. I knew the legend of Hulk, but I didn't get to see the prime Hulkamania Hulk. My first introduction to Hogan was actually the NWO, which of course is for life, brother. And for me, Hollywood Hulk Hogan was a huge part of my childhood. That was really when I became sort of obsessed with professional wrestling. And those are some of my most vivid memories of at least watching Hogan. Yes, we got the Hulkamania, the red and yellow run back in WWE after that, as well as Mr. America attacking with Edge, all of these things. But the Hogan I remember was, opposite Goldberg, who we just saw retire at the Georgia Dome. He was, the finger poke of doom. He was spray painting the backs of other wrestlers. And that's my main memory of Hogan. The interesting thing about the Hulkster here is he basically had two career-defining runs, one as a heel and one as a babyface. And it's a pretty big deal. We've got a lot of comments here before I toss it to you guys. We've got RIP, the immortal Hulk Hogan here from Fernando Zayas. We've got RIP Hulk Hogan from Numero and Superfly. His first introduction to watching Hogan was Saturday Night's Main Event on the DVD, the breakup of the Mega Powers. That is an interesting one without question. But Anthony, I'll go to you first out of the gates. What are your thoughts? Obviously, tough day for the wrestling world. Hogan did so much for the business. Not a perfect person either, though.
No.
Let's not, let that, But talk to me about the Hulkster.
No one's perfect. This is one of those situations where he is a controversial figure inside and outside of wrestling. But there is no question the wrestling business in the position it is in right now is not in that position if it's not for the Hulk Hogan run in the 80s. That was the spark of it. I wasn't a fan in the 80s, but I knew who Hulk Hogan was. He's one of those recognizable people that even if you don't watch wrestling, you know Hulk Hogan. You know the name, you know the look, you know that. And to have career-defining runs, both in the 80s, with the help of the launch of WrestleMania, along with Roddy Piper and Vince McMahon as the maestro behind the scenes, it changed the business forever. Then you go to the late 90s, where the say your prayers and eat your vitamins and train, that kind of went the wayside with the whole steroid trial. And then the NWO, he agreed to waive his creative control to do the NWO. And the fact that 2/3 of that trio are now gone is really sad. Hogan's one of those figures that may not get the recognition for the impact because of the outside the ring controversies that he's had over the years. But there is no question that he made the impact on the industry, and I respect the Make-A-Wish stuff that he was doing, and whatever other charity stuff that he did. I'm not saying that wipes the slate clean of other stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm not defending any of that. Of course not. But his legacy is not all dark. Let's put it that way. And it's not all light either. But it's one of those things that his impact is being felt even to today. There's no WWE on Netflix if there's not the run that he had in the 80s and 90s. There's no AEW. There was no boom period without those moments and without him being at the center of those things.
He really was a defining figure of multiple eras in a lot of ways. I will say, when it comes to the character stuff, obviously we do have to talk about that because it's just it's a factor. You can't go without saying it.
Correct.
I have a hard time separating the legacies of Hulk Hogan and the legacy of Terry Bollea.
Yes.
I would say I have fond childhood memories of Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
I do. Like, I can't lie about that.
Oh, yeah.
But what Terry Bollea said and did was unacceptable. That's just the reality of the situation here. You don't wish death upon anybody, especially at a young age and whatnot. And people do deserve second chance at some point. I don't know if he was as forthright or apologetic as I would have preferred.
Yes.
And that will bother me to this day. Now, obviously, he's passed away at this point, so I'm not here trying to take jabs at somebody that, can't respond themselves.
Right.
But it is just an interesting legacy when you think about separating the two and how that works. Shad, obviously, you grew up around the same time as us, and all three of us will go around the horn here too and talk about it. But I do want to get your thoughts on, Hogan's legacy, I guess Bollea's legacy as well. Now that we said it, and all of that. Maybe your first memory of the Hulkster as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, me being born in the 90s, you and I are like pretty much around the same age. My first introduction to Hulk Hogan came later on in his career. A lot of what you mentioned, the WCW run, the NWO turn. I mean, hell, we were talking about the NWO heel turn from Hollywood Hulk Hogan a few months ago, going into Mania season with John Cena, right? Like, a lot of that was being discussed. For me, him and The Rock, having their big time match against each other, returning back into the WWE. Those are kind of the memories that I have of Hulk Hogan. I'm not going to sit here and say I was his biggest fan, even as a character, but I understood the icon that he was. You can't argue that he was a larger than life figure in professional wrestling. It's why the entire world is kind of surprised today in regards to that, because he's one of those figureheads you remember in professional wrestling. He's a key reason why the WWE has become as popular as it is now to this day. And for that, that's a big loss to our industry, man. This is a guy that a lot of people will put in their position on a Mount Rushmore, and rightfully so. Like, that type of figure deserves to get its flowers and respect. Now, you said something that it kind of mirrors more to what I'm thinking. It's hard to separate the person and the character. And it's hard to separate the person and the character when the stuff that the person has done is just, unacceptable. Acts of racism are never fond of me. Me being a minority, hearing stuff like that, especially towards, what happened in the phone conversation that got leaked about his daughter and a partner. That stuff is difficult to hear, and it's difficult for people to want to root for him. And for those who, have a hard time, celebrating his legacy, I definitely can understand that. I don't think it's wrong for them to do so, but I'm not going to sit here and disrespect, like you mentioned, the person that is no longer here with us, because that's not fair. And I don't wish death on anybody at the end of the day. But that's just kind of the figure that he is, man. He's sometimes when you're a larger than life figure, the good, the bad, and the ugly kind of all get displayed in the forefront. And that's kind of what it is with him, man. Especially those people in the 80s, man. Like,
I
you
think
know,
that's beautifully
like,
said.
yeah.
Because I listened to, you know, I drove to San Diego and back today and was playing golf, busted open, now has wrestling 24/7 radio. I'm listening to the radio the whole time. They delivered the news live on the air. And then there were many callers. A lot of the callers were of the older generation, fighting tears, talking about Hulk Hogan and thinking about like what he meant to so many people's childhoods. That's one generation above me. But I do understand the impact, and I thought you beautifully quantified the juxtaposition between the person and the impact of the character.
Yeah.
An interesting thing I do have to add though is I forgot one of my earliest memory of Hogan is obviously the night that they threw all the trash, and he was
Crash
the
at the
third
beach.
man.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I'm really glad you mentioned WrestleMania 18 because I think that was his crowning moment and arguably his best match. Another one, though, I forgot about childhood memories wise, and I almost just like started giggling when I thought about it. I forgot how key he is in Rocky 3.
Thunder
He's
Lips.
Thunder
Yeah.
Lips, and he gorilla presses Rocky out of the ring in the exhibition.
The irony of that is that he was working for Vince Sr. in the WWF.
That's
And
right.
Stallone called and wanted him to do it. And Vince Sr. told him, if you do it, you're blackballed. That's how he ended up with the AWA, which was the start of Hulkamania. And then Vince Jr. and Sr.'s son took over and made him the poster child of the Rock and Wrestling connection and started, you know, the launch. But he got fired for doing Thunder Lips.
Yes, absolutely. All Stars has some great comments over here. He said that he didn't watch Hogan and didn't especially like his conduct, of course, but it's undeniable that we wouldn't be here without him and that he meant an incredible amount to so many people. He goes, on the other hand, I am disappointed that he ruined his legacy and undid a lot of his good work. I couldn't agree more. It's, you know,
Man. I mean,
it's a little Barry Bonds-ish.
The last time we saw him was getting poured with booze on the opening Netflix episode.
Debut.
Yeah, like, and I mean, it's crazy. Like, we've been talking about him without talking about him on our shows the last few topics too, with the whole Becky Hogan or Mercedes Hogan, you know, like that, the Goldberg stuff as well.
Here's a perfect example of this, and I know Hogan gets the creative control
on Saturday Night Main Event too.
Yeah, Hogan gets the negativity with the creative control. Hogan didn't have to job to Goldberg. He waived that. So, like, if you want to look at any positive of him, like at least trying to help the next guy, you could say that.
What is this comment? There's a graphic at the bottom. What?
Yeah, I think you
He's
are the
71.
dummy, Randy
Yes.
OG.
Oh, no, wait. In the title, it says aged 83.
Oh, my bad. You are a
that would be
smart
Ben,
person.
That one's
My
on
bad.
Ben. Sorry, man.
No, you good. You are not a dummy. I apologize.
Yeah, no. We apologize. Yeah, that'll get fixed. I actually don't know how to change it. Otherwise, I would.
It'll get fixed after the live stream is done.
Yeah.
I only know certain sides here tech-wise.
They only teach you certain
Editing
buttons.
The title is not one of them. I apologize.
No,
that
but
made me
like,
laugh. So I was like, what is he talking about? It says 71 on the bottom of the screen.
I think a lot of, by the way, keeping on the Hogan topic, I think a lot of people forget his last match was in TNA. Like his last actual match was in TNA.
The TNA
That's
stuff,
right.
I think is a very roller coaster esque, kind of like the WCW, where there could be some good, but there was a lot of like wild stuff.
Listen, are we going to forget Suburban Commando and the Over the Top or whatever it was?
Oh my gosh!
By the way, On the topic of the aged 83 thing, I understand how you could miss the 7 and hit the 8, but you missed by 2 numbers.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Benjamin.
Ben, darn it!
You had one job.
Look what you've done to us. Look at what you made us look like.
But no, I mean, just before we obviously wrap this up,
Yeah.
it is like, man, it's crazy to hear. Like just this week, man, like we've seen 2 people that are WWE Hall of Famers, transition to the next life with Ozzy Osbourne as well, and like just seeing all these pictures and moments, man, it makes me like it goes by so fast, man, and like. I remember seeing a lot of these moments with Ozzy in the WWE, and of course everything with Hogan. Like, I was a kid. Now we all like grown men here in our 30s.
100%.
Hogan ends up being the 3rd one in the trilogy of celebrity deaths of the 80s. We had Theo Huxtable
when they
started, then Ozzy, and now Hogan.
They say good and bad things come in threes. It is bizarre, like you said. We've lost 3 icons basically. This week.
Very prevalent, like icons. Also, like this, like the Cosby Show is one of the most important sitcoms of our time. Theo is one of the like childhood actors that we all grew up, watching. Ozzy Osbourne is one of the biggest rock stars of all time. Hulk Hogan is one of the biggest professional wrestlers of all time. So it's crazy to see, man.
Yeah. It really is. With that, we're gonna do a little quick moment of silence in tribute of the Hulkster of Hulk Hogan, and then we'll be back with our Dynamite review very shortly. Alrighty.
We are live 364 days a year.
What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How did not get fishy after Monday Night Raw?
All right, we're back. What is going on, everybody? We are going to talk about, wow, I put the wrong graphic up. That's not it at all. But now we are back. Shad, you're still muted, but either way.
It was positioned next to that one graphic, so it's not your fault.
It really isn't my fault.
It's an easier mistake to make than 71 and 83.
Chams 7N said, why we glossed over the controversy with Hogan earlier. If you actually listen to the full segment, we did not go without mentioning that, my friend. So that's accusations in the words of Rick Ross. But let's talk about Toni Storm against Billy Starks. Interesting matchup here. I love the timeless one. Still my favorite thing going. I'm excited about it. Let's talk Dynamite. I can't honestly remember which of you two's topic this was. Who's going first? It's Shad talking about Toni and Billy Starks.
Finally, we have the Minion Overlord on our weekly television, and it feels right. The American Joshi Athena is on TV. Billy Starks is on TV. We are not hiding them behind the paywall of Ring of Honor. All is good in this world right now. And I thought last night, Space Jesus herself, Billy Starks, and Toni Storm had a phenomenal TV match. I really, really like Billy Starks. There is a untapped potential with her. Like the little promo that she had prior to it, with Toni Storm and Athena, like their dynamic works so well. And to me, she has like a bit of that, like she could be like their Roxanne Perez, like so young in the game, but definitely could become something big time. How great she is at her age. And I thought her and Storm had a great match. I think post-match, the stuff worked out very well. I think Athena, telling her to kind of beat her up after she takes the loss. Athena coming out, them going and attacking Toni Storm, and Alex Windsor coming out. That continues a little feud that her and Athena are having on Collision. But this is where you create a case for like the women's division. We talked about it on Tuesday night, Clark. AEW has arguably the most underrated women's division in professional wrestling. You look at paper, Toni Storm, Athena, Mercedes Moné, Jamie Hayter, Megan Bayne, Billy Starks, Alex Windsor now. Like, they have so many phenomenal professional wrestlers, and they've been booked so well as of late. They're silencing a lot of that criticism that we put on them from months ago. And we got to appreciate it, man. Women's wrestling is without a doubt a draw in this industry right now. And you look at a person like Toni Storm, she is next to the biggest star in AEW, if not the biggest star in AEW at this current time. Like, she's got the same factor that Rhea offers to the WWE. Her music hits, the crowd is going crazy. She's got them eating from the palm of her hand. And now we're giving her a proper title reign this time around, right? It's not her and Mariah May going back and forth against each other. She went against the best in Mercedes Moné. Now she's going against one of the best in Athena. This is putting legitimacy on Toni Storm, the wrestler, because sometimes we forget how great of a wrestler she is because she's such a great character. She's the total package.
She's unbelievable to me how good she is.
She's Michael Jordan, bro. She can play defense and she can score 40 on your head.
Spot on. The craziest thing to me is the character change was so drastic when it happened, right? She also changed the way she wrestled and sold. She walks as the character. She bumps as the character. Mm-hmm. Every move she delivers is in character. It doesn't look like she ever is outside of that. It's fascinating to me. We've got a ton of comments to run through here. First off, my favorite comment every single week on Thursdays. Fernando's eyes with "Now it's time to light the fuse and ignite the Dynamite review." Yes, sir. Absolutely 100%. Nowhere Gamers Chronicles said we are getting old, guys. Everyone we know are going away, guys. We are in the end game now. Ooh, I wouldn't go that far. Thanks for the podcast. You guys are great. From Rainy OG. Thank you so much. Welcome back, Republiholics. I love that one. Bro, get the age right at least. Mustafa Niazi. I would say we talked about this earlier. Totally, we didn't do the title. We're just here to broadcast. That's our part of the equation. Not to blame my boss, so don't get me in trouble. Shh. But either way, Miller Gamers Chronicle. I can't believe I'm the number one fan of Wrestling Public Republiholics. I don't know about that, but that cracks me up. And then he said, imagine Rhea in AEW versus Toni Storm or Statlander. I mean, Rhea in AEW would be pretty electric. If she could somehow keep the entrance, I would be all over that. But I do quickly want to ask you your thoughts on Toni Storm, because I know you appreciate Timeless Tony as much as anybody. Anthony, talk to me about the Timeless one for a second.
I honestly think she probably might be one of the best characters in all of wrestling. She is the type of talent that's over, that she doesn't necessarily need the belt to still be over. Like, and that's rare in wrestling. Roddy Piper had that, but she's also believable as champion. So it works on multiple levels. Essentially, she could do no wrong. I think she's that type of character that you love the character because it's over the top. I think it's part of the reason somebody like, example, Danhausen, out there character, and it's beloved regardless of a person's age, gender, doesn't matter. It's entertaining. It's why R-Truth was so entertaining. But Toni, I'm looking forward to this run and to see what comes of the Athena run against her, because Athena's chasing 1,000 days as Ring of Honor Women's Champion. And she's going against Timeless. So this could get very interesting.
Absolutely. I hate to say it, Toni Storm is approaching best in the entire industry, period.
Character, yes.
Like it's, I think character, she's already there. I think she might be best all around. She's getting close. And the more you line up this lineup in front of her, like Shad mentioned too, and she keeps knocking them down, right? Just a murderer's row of opponents.
Yeah.
It's kind of undeniable no matter which promotion she's in.
Yeah, I expect her and Athena to be a 5-star match without a doubt. That would be another 5-star match that she has this year, obviously with her and Mercedes, and her and Hollywood ending with Mariah May. Like it's not a bad call, to be honest with you. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I think, man, but I do also want to say this though, man. Athena to me is like a diamond in the rough superstar as well. Like, I don't know how she has been overlooked wherever she is, but I'm just glad that she's getting the visible TV time. And if Tony was to lose that title, I think Athena would be the perfect person to take the belt off of her. She is bell for bell better than your favorite wrestler probably is at this current juncture.
Yeah, Athena's so good.
She's incredible. And
I just, with Tony, the one thing that to me that is mind blowing is that it almost still feels surprising every time she over delivers. Like, it's like when we first found Toni Storm and she was the rocker in NXT and WWE, right? She was like a 3-and-D NBA player. She was Danny Green. She like woke up one day and was like, I'm Michael Jordan. Like it's hard to quantify. It's like at a snap of a finger, she went from being like, she's really good to like, whoa.
That's what I'm saying about this division, bro. You have Mercedes, Athena, and Toni Storm. Those are like 3 of the best in this industry right now on their roster. That is pretty impressive to me.
I think Tony, the reason it works is in a lot of ways she embraced it the same way Dustin Rhodes embraced Goldust. The look, the appearance, the style of wrestling, it was completely different than Dustin Runnels or Dustin Rhodes. It's different, and she embraced it same way Undertaker embraced the dead man. Like it's and the fact that the character is working today that would be a typical kayfabe character is the fact that it's a wink and a nod that she's in on it. She's not delusional. She doesn't actually believe she's from 1920. It's a wink and nod, and that's why I think it works.
You think that I've forgotten? It's so good. Okay, let's keep it rolling though here. I might have let us go too long on that one, but let's talk about Maxwell, Jacob, Friedman, and the Hurt Syndicate. Although Mr. Copeland said business last night. He almost did it. He's like, we did some business. And I was like, oh, he's gonna say it. No, he didn't. He skirted around it, but is it time for Max to finally get kicked out of the Hurt Syndicate? Probably. Did we all see it coming? Probably. And I do want to get your opinion on this though, because I think it's been a great story. Actually, it started slow and it got good.
I think it, maybe I missed something, maybe because maybe it was on a Collision or something. When did the Hurt Syndicate become the APA where anybody could just rent them out? Because aren't they heels? Am I mistaken? And Ed and Copeland is supposed to be a babyface. That he just, I was a little confused by that. Max with the Hurt Syndicate breaking up, I'm a little surprised they're doing it as quickly as they are. That would be the only thing that I would have question with. I was not a huge fan of him begging to join the group in the first place. I'm a little surprised they're breaking it up as quickly as they are, considering how it was sort of working. So I feel like you're breaking it up prematurely, if that makes sense.
I hear you. Here's my only thing. I do think you now have an opportunity to some of the best comedy we've gotten from this storyline has been from him trying to sell to the Hurt Syndicate that he deserves to be in it and that he's like gonna be their friend. And you can sort of get back to that where he starts like kissing a little bit more butt than normal and like sort of glad handing like, oh, what can I do for you guys? How can I help out? And all of that.
He needs their protection.
What I do like about it is I like the APA reference. I think they stick with this. Well, I don't know when it started, but I do hope that it continues. Is interesting.
That was my question watching, because I typically don't watch Collision. I'm like, was this on a Collision where they started, being bought out by talent of like, hey, we need backup. Like, if you're going to do it, you need to emphasize that. Like, if they were going to do the breakup, I do it after Max has the belt, because then it makes sense, because then Max is desperate to keep them on his side because he wants protection to keep the belt. Now it's protection for what? For him?
It's tied also
Discussion?
because FTR is the contenders for the tag titles too. So they also, without a
Yeah.
doubt, have a reason to want to hurt them because they want to just kind of destroy their
And
I
competition.
agree, but
they
that should be
gotta go.
explained. It shouldn't just be given and then you're like, oh, that's why they did this.
I like the idea. I like the idea of Max sort of having to be like the worker of the group to impress
Mhm.
MVP, to impress Shelton, to impress Bobby Lashley in order to stay in.
Mhm.
But then by staying in, if we sort of extend this and every week it feels like he might get kicked out, but then
Right.
maybe he starts doing little things that are beneficial to the team so that he's like, well, wait, guys, did you see what I did? Right.
Yeah.
And then you get to a stage where he had a master plan and it all works in his favor. And that's the ultimate Max move.
I think
Complete
that is
slime
what's gonna
ball.
lead to. I think
He's
that's
a
what's gonna lead to.
he's a con man.
Yeah.
That's where Maxwell Jacob Friedman is not just the slimiest guy in the industry. He's a con man.
Oh yeah, he's a narcissist.
That's the brilliance. He's a liar.
Yeah.
And so he's him being the favor guy
Mhm.
for the Hurt Syndicate just to stay in, just so his master plan works out eventually down the road, whatever that may be when it gets paid off. I would love that. Kevin Abreu said something interesting here. It's like the same Zayn storyline from the Bloodline.
I don't think
I
so.
only
at
disagree in
all.
one aspect because Sami Zayn was never going to be the tribal chief.
Yeah.
Max is going to take advantage of the partnership with the Hurt Syndicate,
Yeah.
and then drop them like the rest of the teams he's been a part of.
Here's the thing. If they turn on him, one of two things happen. Either Max is turning a babyface or the Hurt Syndicate's turning a babyface. Somebody's turning out of that because they're all heels right
I would
now.
say they're kind of tweeners right now with the way that the fans sing the song,
Feels like
but I
that.
do hear where you're coming from there. Let's get to the main event of the evening, though,
Mhm.
or the main event of next week's evening, if you
Mhm.
really think about it. That's a mind bender if I've ever heard one. But at the same time, it's a rematch. Hangman Page, John Moxley for the now unbriefcased
Mhm.
AEW World Title. Anthony, I want to get your thoughts on this. It is technically kind of it's not really a rubber match though, right? Because
Mhm.
isn't Hangman up 2-0 lifetime?
Mhm.
Does he pull the sweep, or are we going to see the title right back in that briefcase it came from next Wednesday? It's possible.
I gotta be honest. I think this is a mistake to do this match so soon. Like, to me, you had this blow off match at All In, and it was violent and it was brutal, which is what it needed to be. The fact that we are doing this quickly and that Hangman wrestled this week, like, he should not be wrestling. Neither one of them should. You should be selling this to Forbidden Door if you were going to do this again. It should have been the end of the Death Riders. Like, who does an end game and it's not the end game? Like, it made no sense from that standpoint. Like, is it going to be a great match? I'm sure it is. I think it's too soon. You should be selling the match. It's so brutal. They're not there. Like, if you absolutely felt you needed to do this match, you needed to do this rematch, at least do it at Forbidden Door where you could hype it up. And they're not on TV. They're not wrestling. They're selling the injuries from the match. Well, that All In match, within the first 5 minutes, Hangman's poking him with the fork. And we're like, okay, 2 weeks later, you're doing it again. It doesn't make sense to me. Sell it. If you're going to do it, I don't think you should be doing it anyway. I think that should have been the end of the Death Riders, and you kind of move on with your life. But I don't know if this is tied to the fact that Ospreay's injured. I don't know. But doing this, I don't think it makes sense to do it now.
Yeah. And I'm absolutely fascinated by the stipulation myself, Ant.
Mhm.
You brought up an interesting thing there. So we had a Texas death match. This time he goes, I'll play by your rules. So everybody's banned from ringside. Did we just telegraph a run-in?
Of course we did. Or a new member that's not a part of the current group.
And I'm fascinated by that. I don't get the point here.
Yeah, I don't.
And if the belt goes back in the briefcase after just a few weeks, I might throw up in my mouth. But I want the match to be really good. I don't know. If you had the pencil, in the words of the great Bully Ray,
Mhm.
Shad, where would you go with this one? Because I know these two can put on a great match. I just saw one.
Yeah,
But is this the time?
I think it just needs to be the nail in the coffin for the Death Riders in some way. There needs to be something. Maybe Wheeler Yuta turns on Mox at this point, and that's kind of the tide's turn. Maybe Darby comes out in some manner and progresses his matchup with Moxley. But this just needs to be the end of Moxley in the world title picture. We're good. It's done. We had the feel good moment. Hangman is champion. Hangman has already set himself for storylines with MJF. Hangman can set himself a storyline with other people on the roster before he gets to MJF, obviously. Like it seems like it's just buying some time and creating a little bit more of an extension for something that is different for all of these guys in this picture. And for that, I don't have necessarily a big problem with it, but I do need it to end after next Wednesday because Moxley's, title picture ecosphere that he's in is becoming tiresome, and I don't want that for him. I want us to have him go into something that is more captivating, is more important. And I think that's the story with Darby. I think him and Darby was the story that was told prior to it. We were on the idea that Darby was going to be having the moment that Hangman had at All In, but that's not the case. But that doesn't mean that Darby shouldn't finish off Moxley for his own purpose. Like that storyline still needs to be told, and Hanger just needs to get a proper title run this time around, man. I feel like he's a completely different champion than he was the last time he won the title. I think he has a lot more character development. I think he's got more confidence within himself. I think he's way bigger of a star, crazy enough to say. And I think you give him the opportunity to lead this company, especially in a time frame where, Ospreay had a very emotional promo yesterday, noting that he's going to be out for a little bit. Swerve is having his whole storyline for another title with Okada. Hangman is in his own space, and he needs to kind of lead by example and give him the opportunity to be the guy, the quarterback of the entire division. So let him do that with other counterparts. This roster is just incredibly stacked anyways. Like I could, if you want me to get pen to paper, I could write anybody that's not in the title picture right now going against him as a potential competitor, and it'll sell you a ticket of excitement for whatever match may happen.
Absolutely. I'm with you on basically everything, although you gave me a wicked awful idea.
Mhm.
When it comes to telegraphed run-ins, like Darby's got to come from the ceiling, right?
Again?
If everyone's banned, another Darby ceiling cannonball here to sort of break up whatever
Are they
referees
still-
down, because John Moxley went out of his way to mention the referee.
Yeah.
So whenever the referee's down, that's when we're going to get our run in.
Yeah.
Darby comes and saves the day. Bang,
Mhm.
bang, choo choo
Thing
train,
X.
buckshot, ball game. And then Darby Mox can go off without a hitch. But that very much feels like the plan.
Honestly, this is what I would have. I would not have done this match. It should have been done at All In. Keep Moxley off TV. If you needed an opponent for Hangman, this is what you should have did. You should have had Claudio come out there.
I would have dug that.
Saying Moxley dropped the ball. He's not the guy anymore. Like Triple H dropped, like Triple H dropped when Shawn Michaels lost to Austin at 14. The Death Riders are now my group. Then you could have went that direction. Revisiting Mox again after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is not a smart move.
I also think it's fascinating. Like you had your payoff match booking wise in the Texas Death, and now you have the only stipulation is people are banned from ringside, which basically means people will show up at ringside.
Yes.
So it's like I'm not entirely sure if that's even playing by Hangman's rules, because that was the most interesting thing. He called him a dumbass, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also like, well, wait a minute. Hangman had to convince you to do Texas Death.
Yeah, I mean,
where's the continuity on that? And I'm not usually critical of AEW because I thought Texas Death over-delivered. But that one, I'm a little like, there's a disconnect.
It's almost the equivalent of, okay, Texas Death ended. Most people loved it. And it reminds me of the Goldberg final match. People loved it. Then he ran his mouth, and then they're throwing this match, and then everyone's going, well, you're watering down what was positive
this final match
of this. You know what I mean? Like you ruined what was a great moment.
Who ruined whose final match?
No, Goldberg ruined his final match, but most people liked it before he ran his mouth. And then this situation,
people really like. I'm genuinely surprised. I thought the match was awful.
Oh no. Well, I would say Gunther got as much out of Goldberg as you could.
I mean, that fool broke his hand and broke a referee's ribs. He shouldn't wrestle anywhere. He should be.
And he shredded his hamstring on the jackhammer.
Yeah, he's a piece of garbage.
No, but my point being is, a lot of people were praising that the same way they were praising the death match, and now you're watering it down because it's overkill at this point, or you've ruined the moment.
100%. I will say that is going to bring us to the end of today's show. Thank you so much, everybody that's tuned in. We appreciate you. We do apologize for the clerical error in the title.
It's all good. Rest in peace, Hulk
At the end of the day, though, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. If you don't mind, please like and subscribe if you already haven't. Thank you so much. We really appreciate everybody that tuned in. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. That's, of course, noon Pacific. That's going to be 3 o'clock on the East Coast. That's going to be 8 o'clock in the UK. And that's, of course, 9 a.m. for my friends in Hawaii. And I got a little bit of a spoiler for you here at the No Spoilers Network. When it comes to Wrestling Republic, we'll have Jimmy Corderas on the show tomorrow to discuss his time with Hulk Hogan. Absolutely. That'll be exciting. So make sure you tune in for that. On behalf of me, Clark, Shad, Anthony Ricciardi, and everybody at WR, I hope you have a great Thursday, and we will talk to you soon.